I'm Linda Wanner with the California Catholic Conference, and she gave you my title. For those of you who do not know what the California Catholic Conference is, we are the public policy arm of the Catholic bishops throughout the state of California. We have an office located here in Sacramento, and we lobby at the Capitol. Within our office, we have 4 lobbyists, and we all take different areas of issue areas that we have. And my portfolio covers the social safety net, public safety, and in the environment. And so within those 3 categories, I'm looking for and focusing within the social services. I'm with CalFresh, CalWorks, immigration, housing, homelessness, earned income tax credit. With public safety, we have a focus on rehabilitation, sentencing reform, restorative justice, and victims. And then within the environment, there's a focus on safe drinking water and air quality within disadvantaged communities. And those are the 3 categories, and those are some of the issues that we really highlight and lift to the top within the legislative process. So I'm going to talk a little bit, like Megan said, about the legislative process and give you an update on a few bills that the governor has on his desk, and then touch on some things that how you can get engaged, and then again with some of the organizations that you could work with. And I see that the Anti-Recidivism Coalition is part of this. That's great, because they were on my list of organizations to be involved. So let's start with the legislative process. As you know, we have a legislative process, and it's a 2-year session. It always becomes together with a 2-year session. Right now, we are in the middle of the 2-year session. We've had one. It just ended here in September, and now the governor has until tomorrow night at midnight to sign or veto the bills that are on his desk. Once he's done with that, the legislators are all now in their district offices back home in their districts, and so they'll come back to Sacramento again in January, and the cycle starts again. So during the process of each year, the legislature introduces about over 3,000 bills a year. So a good portion of them, probably about half of them, either get signed into law or they pass on to the second year. At the end of the second year, whatever doesn't get signed or vetoed or moved, it's dead, because the first year of the 2-year session, we start all over again. So you can't have any 2-year bills in that process. So we're, like I said, we're right in the middle of the legislative session. So we do have bills that are 2-year bills. And the one bill that I'll talk about is a 2-year bill, which means that we'll take it up again next year when they come into Sacramento. So the process is, when an author or a legislator introduces a bill, the bill then goes into a policy committee, to a fiscal committee, and then to the floor of each house. Sometimes the bill will be double referred and go to 2 policy committees, but for the most part, they all have 1 policy committee. And then once they pass off the floor of one house, they'll go into the other house, and they go through that same process: policy, fiscal, and floor. And if it has been amended or changed in any way, once it leaves the first house, it has to go back to the second house for concurrence. If it hasn't been changed, then it goes straight to the governor's desk. And right now, like I said, about 1,500 bills get signed into law each year. I checked as of early this afternoon. The governor still has about 160 bills on his desk that he has to deal with today and tomorrow. And he has to deal with them, because if he does not do them, then does not sign or veto or doesn't do anything with it, the bill automatically becomes law. And that has never happened. I've been doing this for about 30 years now, and that's never happened in my time that I've seen, where the governor hasn't dealt with one bill or another, that it automatically became law. So again, I wanted to touch on a couple of bills that your group may be interested in. AB 505 was a bill by Assembly Member Phil Ting in the San Francisco area. As you all recall, the Juvenile Justice Department has, they've closed that down, and they've come up with the new office of what's it called? The Youth and Community Restoration. So basically that's been in existence for a little over a year, going on 2 years already. And what Assemblymember Ting wants to do is make sure that this office has tools to move forward. Because a lot of times we create facilities and offices and things like that, and it's kind of like the funding and all that stuff is like hindsight. And so it's a matter of just moving forward, being able to have the tools that they need. And the governor signed this bill just this Monday. So we're going to look forward to that. How that's going to be implemented, that's for the other groups to decide that, where all the things that they need. I know that the Anti-Recidivism Coalition has been a very big part of this office. So at the end of my presentation, I'll give you a few more groups that we can get in touch with that are going to have hands-on process throughout this time. AB 1186, I talked about a 2-year bill. This is a bill by Mia Banta from the Oakland area that kind of modifies and enhances the youth restoration or restitution system. The restitution system is not working. It hasn't, because young people don't have jobs. How do they pay back? And they're forever in debt once they're, leaving the system, and that debt just follows them. So it's a matter of, they wanted to then put the responsibility on the California Victims Compensation Board in order to pay these victims for youth. So, and you all know that we were all in a big deficit with the budget. So that bill it was decided that they would just hold the bill, not move it, because if they would have moved it, the governor would have vetoed it. So they will bring it back next year. Hopefully our budget situation is a little bit better, to where that the Victims Compensation Board can take this under their wing. Because again, like I said, the debt follows these youth forever, however long, until it's paid off. And as youth, they don't have jobs, and they need to be, really focusing on their education and those kinds of things more so than finding jobs. So like I said, it's a 2-year bill. We'll wait for it to come back next year. It's already passed both houses, so it's sitting there. It just needs the vote of the Senate floor. So it doesn't have to go through a lot of processes. It's going to be sitting there. And I think they're going to wait till the end of the year just to make sure, because of the income tax revenue coming in June and July of next year. So they'll probably wait till the last minute to kind of push this bill forward to make sure that they have funding for it. And one other last one, SB 448 by Senator Becker. He's from the Santa Clara, San Francisco, San Mateo area. This is a little complicated, but it prohibits the court from making the decision solely on the minor's county of residence. And what that means is a lot of times you have the young people in close proximities, stepping over the line into one county, getting arrested, and then you end up with they're having to go to court in that county, and different counties treat their youth different ways, which is ironic. It shouldn't be that way. It should be the same across the board, but we do have different sentence things for each county, and that shouldn't be. And so this bill is kind of leaving the decision up to the judges. So I think it's a very good bill, and so we'll wait to see how that plays out. The governor signed this bill also on Monday, so that's going to move forward. And it'll just be easier for them to cross county lines on a day-to-day basis, because that's, our youth do that in and out. So looking very forward to working with the groups on how to implement that. So those are the 3 bills. I mean, the legislature introduces many, many bills, as I said, over 3,000. A lot of them have to do with public safety and youth and the criminal justice system in general. I tend to monitor and watch a lot of them. But with my portfolio being so big, I kind of have to just really narrow and pick maybe a handful, maybe no more than 8 or 9 bills in each category to move forward. So if there's anything that you guys come across or want to know about or whatever, I'd be interested. You could, give me a call and I could look it up and we can go from there. I also want to make a note of that. I had a meeting just a couple of weeks ago before the session ended with Senator Menjivar from the San Diego area. She is very much interested in youth and has put a plea out there to, if there's anything that is needed or wanted, within the youth programs or whatever, is to contact her office. Now, I know politics is local, and you think, well, you should just, because you're local in Orange County, you're going to stay right there or whatever. But anything dealing with youth a lot of times is statewide. And so it's a matter of a statewide policy. I mean, even if you went to Senator Menjivar and said, hey, this program that we have or whatever is not working, or this is how we can make it better, she would take it upon herself, because if it's a statewide part, then it covers everybody. So I highly recommend that. And as I stated earlier, how to become engaged. And again, your legislators are back home in their districts right now, between now and January. They're doing community events, they're doing fundraisers. If you're not familiar of how to set up an appointment, with your legislator, I mean, it's just a matter of just to call them, set up an appointment, go in and just have a conversation. You don't have to talk about anything specific at first, just build a relationship. Just go in and let them know what it is that you guys do out in the community, and you're working with youth and how that's going, and let them know what's working and what's not working. And who knows, from there would probably be, come legislation or whatever it is. But I highly encourage you to get in touch with your legislators and work through that. And I also said that, like I was talking about the office, the Anti-Recidivism Coalition. There are different groups like that very much engage in advocacy. There's the Committee on Revision of the Penal Code, which is a 7-member committee of judges and academics and lawmakers that, if something's not working within a law, you can take it to them and they can take a look at it. They revise the penal code all the time. They have to go through regulations and whatever. It's a long process. But if there's a program that just absolutely is not working or whatever, that you could really want to see a change in it, they're there for that. Another group is the Board of State Community and Corrections, BSCC. They're heavily engaged in criminal justice work. They right now hold all the money, all the grants to youth programs, that you could apply for, although that will switch come 2025. That will be then turned over to the Office of Youth and Community Restoration, and BSCC will not handle that anymore. So it might be a little bit easier, a smaller organization to kind of tap into. And then again, like I said, I had on my list the Anti-Recidivism Coalition. They're very much engaged. They have an office here in Sacramento, and we touch base a little bit. So it's just depending on the wants and needs of your organizations, that have these organizations have little niches, might do, reentry, or they might do jobs or whatever it is. It's just the nature of what groups you want to reach out to. And as I was putting this presentation together, I was thinking to myself, I didn't list the names and emails and websites and contact information. But I thought to myself, well, if you want any of that information, I could just put together a list and then send it to Megan later, and then have it, she can distribute it. So that's it in a nutshell. If there's any questions that I can ask or answer.
Yeah, Linda, first off, we would Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would definitely love a list. We
Okay.
can send that out because we have a much bigger group other than obviously just what's here today as well
Right.
that could benefit from that.
Hmm.
But yeah, definitely want to open it up for questions. So anyone that knows me knows I can talk about reentry and employment until you are sick of hearing it from me. And I know Linda's the same with legislation. So while you guys have legislation, while you have Linda, I would definitely suggest asking any questions that you may have. She has a wealth of information, on this topic. And so wanted to open it up if anyone does have any questions or thoughts or looking for advice, anything like that.
I will just say one more thing is that we at the Catholic Conference, we put out a weekly newsletter. It's called Insights. If you go to our website and sign up for our network, you'll get an email every week letting you know what it is, the issues that we're working on during the legislative session. And then you'll get like alerts and things like that when things are pressing at the legislature. And our website is cacatholic.org.
Perfect. We will definitely share that out.
Okay.
Anybody has any questions? Frank, are you, sorry, I don't want to put you on the spot, but are you aware of any of the stuff going on with ARC?
Yeah. So, hi Linda, and nice to meet
Hi.
you, and hi everyone. So recently we were happy to be one of the co-sponsors for the AB 505, which was celebrated by all our, by all ARC. And I think one of the biggest things, one detail amongst many that it's going to cause is that it's going to provide or it's going to create a youth offender, a youth ombudsman person that will talk to youth immediately, which will, require whoever has an issue to see this youth ombudsman within 48 hours instead of going through the long process and waiting for a resolution to whatever conflict they may have. I do have a question in regards to this because I know that everybody knows that the DJJ is closing down, and I think they're down to their last facility, right? Or I may be wrong. But so what type of issues is this person gonna deal with if they're no longer youth in prison or in DJJ? Do you know how that looks, or what type of issues can be brought to this person per se?
To the ombudsman,
Yes.
it's from my understanding, it's basically going to be like um, anything dealing with the rights of the youth, that he or she will be right on top of it. It's not so much of like where you're going, where you're going to be housed, those kinds of things. It's just being how they're being treated.
Okay.
And I think that, it's like I said, it's brand new. He just
Yeah.
signed it on Monday. So we don't know what it's going to really look like going forward. And I'm thinking that the Office of Community and Restoration, of Youth and Community Restoration, is going to have a big say on how this is going to be implemented. So, and your group will no doubt be a part of that also. It's great that they have somebody to turn to and get it done fast enough, because I know that in the past, things were just hanging out there and it was going from person to person to person and nothing was getting resolved. So this is a real benefit for this office to have that ombudsman or person,
So
they say.
yeah, so we were talking and discussing this topic because as you know, a lot of all of the young men and women that are in DJJ, they're being spread out across the state. They're going to they're called strategic youth treatment facilities, and like the ARC, we have several housing programs, and some of them are here, but they deal with probation. So their contact person is a probation officer. And as we all know, especially in LA County, probation department is very it's overran. It's like on its last leg itself. And so I fear that this youth ombudsman is gonna quickly find himself overwhelmed, because there's a system that these young men and women are gonna rely on, and they're gonna quickly run to the ombudsman, and then it's gonna create this whole set of problems. So we're trying to get ahead of the curve and trying to figure out how we can assist and support the youth that gets picked, and or like find ways to deal with any problems that may arise from the DJJs closing down, and then the state really having no answer, as far as where to send these young men and women.
Right. Yeah, that's yeah. That's going to be an issue. I mean, down the road, if you can get ahead of the game, then more power to you. But again, I mean, if you look at this bill and what it's created, I mean, I think legislators are aware of that process in LA and all of that, and that's why these are like baby steps. And yes, this person may become very much overwhelmed, but the thing is then we all learn from there, and maybe come next legislative session, we build that office with 3 or 4 people, and we add to it. And so it's on the positive side of all those things, I mean, these are positive steps. And I've always told people within the legislative process, it sometimes it moves really slow, and you have to have this little piece, and we want the whole ball of wax and whatever right away, but we just can't get it. And especially right now with the budget times that this state is in, I'm really surprised that he even signed this and created this office to go forward. So like I said, it may be overwhelming, but we just have to take baby steps and see what happens come, January. They can introduce another bill and go forward and add to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And one other question, and this goes to anybody. How is Orange County preparing to deal with the release of all the youth from DJJ? Does anybody know what locations have been designated SYTFs, and how those individual programs are prepping or have been helping them?
Nancy, did you have updates for SB 23? I was just going to speak candidly that our group was meeting. I wasn't a part of it, and so maybe Nancy can give a more recent update. That's actually something we were requesting for our next JJCC meeting. Was an update on where we're at with that. But Nancy, do you have insight on
I
that?
was just waiting for the floor to anybody ask questions. Francisco, you have a lot of really great questions, and I've been putting a lot of information in the chat. When Linda, you've been sharing your wonderful information on legislative process. I think sometimes when we look at policies, our eyes go like cross-eyed, and we're like, oh my goodness, add another plate for some information that it's a lot of processing. And I hope that you'll be our resident legislative person moving forward, because it sounds like you live and breathe it, and I love it, and you just translate it in a way that we all can process it. But as a nonprofit leader and as a person running programs, it is daunting when we talk about politics and policies, and it is not fast enough sometimes, because we're sitting in the front lines. So one of the things that I love to be able to share on this platform with everyone is the Office of Youth and Community Restoration, which is what you're talking about, Linda. I'm not sure if you guys been aware about it or know about it, but it's well worth, I found it, my time to sit in those spaces, because I do get information like fingertip, like hot, and right now, because of the this new policy that you just said that was just signed, the ombudsman, I just saw a link, because I'm a subscriber to their listserv, that they're looking for somebody right now. They're looking for somebody to hire for that position. And so if you look at even the link, even on their website, they have information right now. Call this number right now, helpline, if you have somebody who a youth has rights have been violated. So I strongly encourage you to go to link on those website link for OYCR, because there's tons of information, everything that you're talking about right now, Francisco, because in the meantime, what do we do, right? And there is a helpline there. I would be curious to see if anybody has ever called it. Is anybody tried? Because talking about it, is it faster than all these overwhelming phone calls, right, Francisco? So, or maybe we try calling it and see what happens. That way we could get feedback, especially at these subcommittees with OYCR, because the decision makers are at that table, at the state level, and they want to hear feedback from folks like us. And, you know, they have a board just as well, and we are able to sit on there, listen to these policies that are changing at, you know, at the current moment. And then how does it translate it down locally? Good question, right? So locally, we do have a committee, a subcommittee that was created because of the funding, right? The policy have changed. So that's a great thing. There has been a plan in place that was solicited by feedback from community partners and feedback from that. So that is in place. The question is now that we have about a year or so, I think now with that plan in place, now what, right? What is what's being implemented, right? When's the plan? And then now the next step is implementation. So that's where we're at, and this is happening at the JJCC level. So if you guys aren't familiar with the JJCC, that's the Juvenile Justice Coordinating Council. They're the holders of the, you know, overseeing, if you will, the funding from SB 823. And so that's where the space is being held at. Again, strongly encourage you to attend those meetings if you can. The great thing about it right now is that they're offering it virtually, so you don't have to go in person. You can just sit and listen just to hear what's happening at those spaces. And also I believe they updated their website. We always share the website. Again, probably a lot more information than a lot of those of us who are nonprofit have time to sit there, but this is a very exciting time to be sitting at those spaces, because you can start seeing how policy is changing from at the state level now down to the county level. And to be in those spaces where you can actually provide public feedback. So Francisco, you know, you have a lot of really great questions, and we would love to hear communities speak up and have public comment anytime we're at those spaces. At this moment, I don't know if anybody is sitting there. What I do know, we don't have any public comment happening at that level. So it is a great time to be, because policy is changing, and how is that being translated into local, right? You know, it's great to be able to have community partners and community members sitting at those tables to ask these wonderful questions. I know
exactly.
that was
and this is the prime time to do that, is because you're right in the middle. Things have come down and whatever, and we're getting prepped for coming January and whatever, and it's kind of like sitting at the table and giving input in those kinds of things, you know, no matter what stage it's in, the planning stage is in, because there's always some tweaks that need to be made. So that's why I encourage you all to get involved in the various different organizations that I had mentioned, because you have a right to be at the table, because you guys are down in the trenches of it all.
Any other questions, comments, thoughts, or anything?
Who's like, I'm just curious, like, oh, this is my jam. Like, I really would love to be more involved in this. And or others are like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. Like I am like, don't add another thing onto my plate or a meeting that I have to go to. I know, you know, this is kind of a safe space, and we understand. And, you know, Megan and I, I don't know if we share with this group again, we do sit at the JJCC level, helping influencing, you know, decision makers regarding about policy. And we're here to represent, you know, and share and bring it up to that table. So again, you know, if you want to send an email to either one of us and just say, hey, these are some challenges and barriers I'm having. I can't sit at that table, but this is what's happening and I need help. I'm drowning, or I don't understand. I'm confused. You know, share that information. We won't identify who you are. We'll keep it anonymous, that we're just here representing the whole. And that was kind of one of our purposes with this group is we understand, we get it. But if we can try to help and elevate your guys' voices, that's also our role as well.
Can I just ask, is the JJCC, are there more than one councils, or is it just one big state council?
No,
Every
county.
It's within the county.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it comes down from the state that every county has to have one. So same with I don't know if you're familiar on the adult side, the AB 109, they have the community corrections partnerships.
Yeah.
JJCC is the same for the youth funding. So yeah, each
Okay.
county has one. So for Orange County, both Nasli and myself sit on Orange counties
Okay.
representing pretty much the community.
Okay.
I had
Thank you.
somebody, when I asked that question, I had some people thumbs up. I'm not, I apologize. I was talking while that was happening.
I think
So-
Iris had a hand up, or I wasn't sure if she was just saying yes.
Oh, I didn't know if you were
Get a
like, right on,
question.
Nasli, yes, or yeah, Nasli, I'm really interested. I really want to know more. And
Oh yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Iris. I'm a project rights counselor at Santiago Canyon College. With my sister school, Santa Ana College. So I'm just really excited. It's my first time attending, this meeting, and I'm more than excited to learn more about how I can sit in this meeting and just learning a lot.
No, we're so glad you're here. Thanks for
Thank you.
coming. And we'll
And
definitely be
Where
talking more
can
about
we
that.
find more
Oh.
information on how we can attend these meetings? I clicked on the link right now that was shared right now by Nasrin. It has some information on there on previous meetings. Where can we seek further info and like signing up?
Yeah, so the link both Nasli and I both shared is for the JJCC meetings. So if you see them, it has the minutes, and then below it, it has the agenda. So it will have them, they're usually posted about a week or so before the next meeting. But if you look at the minutes, the last minute posted, it'll usually tell you when the next meeting is as well. And then the agenda will get posted. And so for this group, these meetings, we meet quarterly, and these meetings are all posted on H.I.R.E's website. So hireoc.org, which I'll share as well under like our upcoming meetings. We have our employment subcommittee meetings. We have the youth subcommittee meetings. We put on community meetings, which are kind of bigger topics for all community at large. So once you're on our list, though, you'll start getting our newsletters as well, and you'll get updated for meetings and stuff. So we're glad you're here. Welcome to the group. This is a wealth of information in these groups, which is part of the reason why we have these. And even like I shared a little bit earlier, our group is much bigger than even who just attends meetings. So to what Nasli just said, send us questions and stuff. We relay that information out. We may bring in a speaker. We may bring that to the JJCC level, all sorts of different things. Just how can we better engage with one another, share resources, and just better serve our community. So yeah, we're super excited you're here. And we'll definitely keep you posted. So anything coming up.
Just so that you guys know, and again, because I know sometimes it's so hard to find this information, but the next JJCC meeting, again, open to the public. You can come. You don't need to RSVP or anything. That is on October 26th at 3:30. They're being held at the wonderful and beautiful multi-rehabilitation center, which is behind Juvenile Hall. Meet us up there. You'll see a friendly face. That'll be Megan and myself. We would be happy to have you there, shake hands, make that feel safe. It's a very exciting time right now, but it is heavy with our county, partners, which are really great, but we would love to be able to see more community partners there. And they have coffee and water. So
that's more than we can offer you guys.
I'm pushing for food because us poor people here are hungry while we're rushing there. I sometimes get angry. It would make us very happy to see many of your guys' faces there, just at least to witness, but also introduce to other probation, staff who are there and connected and create more partnerships. And I think this is where probation really is wanting more support of it. I would say they're welcoming it. It's just sometimes they don't know where all the spaces are at. And so, sometimes we get probation to come here and share.
Gloria's on the call.
Oh, where is she? Oh,
she's
there. See, sometimes we do have probation here. And so, shout out and yay. If she wants to come on.
Not to put you on the spot, Gloria, but I saw you. There she
is. See?
Hello.
Yeah, we're so glad you're here again. And so, on that note, and so as you guys see, we have some public defenders on, we have probation. So we really try to engage community with county, right? And so how do we have more of those conversations, be aware of one another? because I'm sure Gloria could share as well, you know, as
I
well.
worked juvenile hall for like 14 years, so I hold the juveniles and that part of the system very close to my heart. I really enjoyed working in the hall, and I think that that's kind of where our work needs to start, because they're just getting into the system there.
Yep.
So I think they are vital to all of reentry, because that's where it really becomes reentry at.
Definitely, definitely. And I know so many of you guys over the years, you know, who've gotten, you know, involved in our group and whatnot, are just kind of also looking like, well, where are the resources, right? Because I know sometimes on the community side, we're like, well, they don't hear us and they don't engage with us. But then you guys go to the other side and they're like, we don't know where everybody is, right? How do we connect? So that's where we kind of put together these groups as well. So that way people can share resources, be aware of one another out there. You know, and just educate, so that way we can work better as a community, because we're all trying to, you know, work toward the same goal here, right? Like, we want a better community for our youth. We want them to stay out of trouble, you know, and be on the right path. And so, definitely. Any other questions or comments before we kind of jump ship? Not jump ship, jump gears. I can't talk. It's been a long week, guys.
Hi, Megan, can I say something?
Yeah,
Sorry, you have to
Megan.
keep letting me in. I keep kicking off. So first of all, Natalie and Megan, you know, thank you for you've been promoting the JCCC for years now. And I know for me as a systems advocate, and you know, someone who's not afraid of legislation, I think, you know, that is really important. And I also think that the voice of the service providers is huge in being able to amplify some of the efforts, you know, and so I mean, our agency, we sometimes will do trainings to help people understand how to get involved, even how to make public comment.
Yeah.
Right. And some of those tips and tricks, and being able to represent yourself or your agency, and being able to share in a meaningful way, you know, the input. So, you know, we're always happy to do that. And then to this group too, right? If that's something that we want to kind of mobilize a little bit more to the county level. And then, you know, I love the fact that, of course, you guys are our designated liaisons to the community. And I do wonder if maybe at our next, well, no, I don't know, because the timing of everything is kind of strike while the iron's hot, but maybe be able to take feedback or create a form or a survey or something where folks can, even those who are not attending the meeting today, but that are still on the listserv, can offer some concerns or suggestions about some of the current legislation, so that you two can really, you know, take it forward in your next meeting, right? So it wouldn't be through public comment, but it would be through your actual committee representation. And I think that's really key. And I don't want to lose that, like, from the group.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. And kind of two thoughts. I feel like maybe it wasn't you, maybe somebody else, but 100 years ago under my old hat, I feel like we had that as far as like somebody coming and teaching people how to make public comment and that sort of stuff. So I think that would be helpful as well. So maybe we can schedule that for upcoming, because I think that is something that a lot of people don't know how to do. I mean, I'm in this process almost daily. And even for me, like, I'm like, how do you guys do that? Because I probably don't sit on that side, so that'd be helpful.
Right.
And then as far as the survey, that's a good idea too, because we have it. Actually, Nazi and I are going to talk about some changes we're probably doing with this group as well. And I have two amazing interns who are on the call right now, Sophia and Natalie. And so maybe we can task them with putting together a survey to go out as well. So you guys add that to your list. We can follow up on that. But yeah, I think that's a great idea. So Frank, did you have a question? Thanks, Christine. Yeah, we'll definitely reach out to you for sure for that.
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback. I thought that was a great idea as well. And one of the things that we do very well here at ARC, we have a policy training group every Monday night where it's geared for all the youth that want to, you know, participate in exercising their voice at city halls or at the Capitol. And they get together every week, and you know, because of their dedication and you know, enthusiasm, they've been, you know, been a big part of all. I think we were up to 28 bills that we've co-sponsored and that have passed in the legislature. So I think that's a great idea, and I think you know, OC needs something like that. I mean, maybe they have it already. I just, like I said, I'm my heart is in Orange County. I happen to be in LA, but I would definitely be open to, like participating in that type of training or program or whatever it ends up being if created. So I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, I love it. And so full disclosure, H.I.R.E, actually our first 2 years, I think that we did it. We did have 2 other subcommittee groups. We had a women's subcommittee and we had a advocacy group as well. But due to my bandwidth and then our partners having changes and things like that, we just decided to solely kind of focus on youth and employment this year. But as we're expanding and seeing the need, like I'm happy to, if that's something we want to get off the ground, see how we could possibly do that again, or leverage kind of ARC. I don't know. I'm assuming that's in person. You guys don't have that like online, or how does that operate?
Actually, it is it is offered online, and
Okay.
now that I think about it, I don't know, or maybe some of you guys know him. His name is Michael Mendoza. He's out of Orange County. He's our pet policy person, and he's just been I forgot the exact title that they gave him, but the White House has recognized him as one of the leaders in reentry here in in California. So we should definitely make use of our own.
We need to get our OC people back to OC.
Yeah.
I don't know him. We need to connect.
His name is Michael Mendoza. Look him up.
Okay.
He's on on the ARC website. He's a great guy.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect. Well, we'll definitely be talking to you. But if you have information though on the meetings, if they are virtual, in the meantime, we're happy to share that out with our, networking groups as well, to hopefully get some attendance and interest there as well. Because I know in Orange County, historically, we've been hungry for it. There just hasn't necessarily been like an avenue for it. And I know I've tried under my old hat and then now under H.I.R.E, and it's just been, there's not enough hours in the day. But we definitely need that, and I know Project Kinship's been involved in it on some levels and a few others. So I'm all for it, and
yeah.
So
I'll talk to my Kent Mendoza and Michael Mendoza about it and see what they think about it, and then I'll even connect them with you.
Okay.
So you guys could hash out any details.
Yeah, we love it. And if not, let's not recreate the wheel. If you guys are doing something great, let's get involved and kind of see how we can help support it, and then possibly break off from there. But if you guys are already doing it, you guys are doing a great job at it, we'd love to kind of learn from you guys as well. Perfect. Any other comments, questions on the legislative side of things? If not, like Linda, just want to thank you so much again for sharing all your information. Obviously want to have an open door policy if there is, other stuff coming up or things we need to know about. I know you are my person, so we are happy to have you back at any time, or, share information out if you know of things we should be aware of, or just things even we should share out. Like definitely let us know so we can get the word out to people.
Okay. Oh, no problem. Well, thank you for having me. I will send you that list though with the website and contact information of those various different groups that you should have a seat at the table. And then likewise too, if you can if anybody has any questions on legislation going forward, I know that here in Sacramento, we work with ARC quite a bit. So just let me know.
Okay, perfect. I will be happy to.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
And I'll be signing off.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Linda. Bye.